Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Berube here with the lovely Mary Kullman. Okay. Well, you didn't let me finish my intro. This studio audience is so, they're just so energetic.
Yeah.
Manager of the Sahara branch, along with Amanda Franchi. So, Mary, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
All right. So let's start off by telling a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this. Because remember, the people in Nevada know you, but we have California, Arizona on here as well. So tell them a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, and all that good stuff.
Okay. So I have been in real estate now for working on my 13th year. Always with this company since day one. It's the only place I've ever been. I like to say that'll be day one till day done. So this is home. I started out as an agent on John Joseph team, and
Right.
yeah, I did that from starting. John and I were friends before I joined real estate, so that was the whole reason I got into real estate was him. And anyway, I was on his team, and we ended up building a team that I then managed and helped him run, and we did that for a few years. And then in October of 21, I became the sales manager for Sahara. And then October of 22 became the branch manager, co-branch manager with Amanda. So here I am. That's where I've been. That's kind of how I got here.
It's awesome. No, I remember when I started, you and John were working together, John Joseph, now at the Mike Ferry organization. And I hear he's doing well after his, That's great. So he's back on the mend as far as healthy goes. So John, we wish you nothing but great thoughts there. So awesome. Well, good. And you know what? What a great teacher too, right? John, he kind of knows his way around the campus.
Yes, I feel like I was taught by the best. So it was a natural progression to move into this position because I think he kind of always had me, was always teaching me all the way along that how to help grow agents to teach them how to generate business, teach them how to build a successful, predictable, duplicatable business. And so I love this. Everything about this is kind of leads that direction.
Yep. So. It's kind of right up your alley there for what you've been trained for all along to jump right in there and hit the ground running. So good job. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. So tell us a little about, I know you guys do some wonderful things there at your branch with those agents. So tell us a little about that, please.
Well, we are definitely, we've started, Amanda and I've built a program together to just really get agents used to working in a time frame, being business owners, having expectations for them to be able to focus on becoming business owners, managing their time, tracking numbers, just all of the things that it's going to take to build that successful business, helping them reach their goals with goal planning, and just a whole lot of based on agents and their goals and getting them moved to where they want to be in the business. That's really been the focus for this year. And have my word for this year is impact. So everything I'm doing is to leave an impact on them, help them reach their goals, impact their lives in a way that helps them move towards whatever it is that they want to do. And then of course, our seasoned agents, bringing value to them of helping them also maybe look at things a different way than what they have before. Big thing about this business is really helping them understand about tracking numbers. This is I'm probably the least analytical person ever, but knowing that's one thing since day one always made sense to me with this business is it's all about numbers, which is really hard for someone like me, but it just makes sense. So, being able to help agents see that, and even seasoned agents, how important it is to track those numbers all the way through. How do you know where you're going if you don't know where you've been? How do you know what your goal is if you don't know what you're shooting for? So that's really my big thing this year is helping them to understand the numbers.
Right. Yeah, it's so true because I'm not an analytical person either, but I remember my numbers. I remember it took me 48, towards the end of my career before I got into coaching full time, 48 contacts per closing. I had it figured out to, how much money I was making per contact, just to keep myself motivated. I know you guys do a lot of those things there, and you guys have really cranked it up on the accountability there too, haven't you?
Oh, for sure. That's the biggest. I think that's the next important piece is definitely making sure the accountability is in place. Because without any type of, and I have to say, I 100% learned that from John over all the years is, if there's no accountability behind it, I'm going to do my own thing. If I don't have somebody holding me accountable to what I need to do, even today, even in the position I'm in now, I still have really strong accountability around me because I have to. I have goals to hit, numbers to hit, just like when I was an agent. If there's no accountability there, then I'm just going to do my own thing. And I learned something really early on in this. This was the biggest part of accountability for me. I will let myself down all the time. But if I've made a commitment and told someone that I will be there, I will meet you at this certain time, we will do this, then I can't do. And I had to learn that by building really strong accountability around myself. And now I use that kind of as an example to agents as well. If I'll let myself down all the time, but if I've made a commitment to you and built the accountability around that, that's a different story.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly right. That's why in my coaching, I make them make statements amongst the group, and then follow it up within writing. And as John taught you, and John is analytical, by the way, as you know.
oh yeah, oh I know.
A little easier for someone to keep track. So, some people look forward to the numbers. I kept track of mine reluctantly, but then after keeping them track for a while and seeing what they do for you, like your batting ratio when you go on appointments and how many contacts per an appointment, and all those things, I think if you really want to maximize your existence in this thing called real estate, those are all really beneficial numbers to know, aren't they?
Absolutely. And it also, the part that I love the best about consistently is it's such a clear picture when you realize if all of a sudden the amount of appointments you were going on, uh, but now you're not getting the same amount of signed contracts that you used to get.
Right.
You know, we're not closing enough, or we're not pre-qualing before we go on those appointments. You can dial it down to exactly where the issue is and be able to see at what point did my business change? What did I stop doing because I got too busy? Or what do I need to get back to doing? Or what did my ego go get so out of control on that I could run my own show and do my own thing? And then all of a sudden you realize, wait a second, no, I have to get back. You'll know exactly what you changed in your business that caused that change in your income. So
Right.
that's my favorite part about the tracking the numbers. They don't lie. They
The
do not.
numbers don't lie.
No, they just don't. They just do not.
They do.
So
They don't lie. That's kind of. I just did a little video kind of about that with buyers, working with buyers right now. As you know, is my social media commitment to myself is to do a video a day, which is painful. You know, people think I wake up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror and say, "Can't wait to do a video with you today, big." But I don't. I do not do that. I do not do that. So no, but the numbers are so important, and these commitments, getting outside your comfort zone. But you can see when this gels, and you have so many examples in your office. Valentina Rodriguez, you have John and Scott in there that John started and jumped right in it and he started making contacts and he's a top producer now. And there's so many examples. You have some really big teams. You have new beginners, and you also have individual agents that have really used what we're talking about here and become very
yeah.
successful doing it.
The thing I love the most about this is, I watching agents like you mentioned, John Williams, and watching him move up by tracking numbers and doing what he was supposed to do and practicing all the time. It's really exciting also to know that where Valentina and all of them are, and seeing brand new agents that having the opportunity with brand new agents that come in to be able to sit down with them one on one and use them as examples to explain to them that tracking your numbers and doing all of these things now will get you to wherever it is you want to go, and they just don't know. We're trying to build something here where they just don't know that there's an option but to do those things, because we know that that works and they become successful. We don't get a whole lot of pushback or resistance to any of that because they come in, they want to do what they look up to other agents and they want to do what they're doing. So it's easy to say, this is how they got here. Do the same things they did. They spend a lot of hours in here. They track their stuff already. And we've had some brand new agents that have been licensed for 2 months that already have closings and have listings and have gone on a lot of appointments. So that's exciting stuff to see.
Yeah,
Super.
and some of them, some of them come out of the gate hot. Some of them take a little bit
Yeah.
longer to gel, right, before it starts to work. But I've never seen anybody go down the road who keeps going, who isn't successful, right?
No,
It just
I
it
think
just
you can't. you would really have to work if you're doing what the plans that you've laid out, that we have laid out in all the other offices, what we have here. If you're not doing those things, you're only, if you're not successful, it's because you're doing none of the things of all the tools that are provided to you for everything. Because there's almost, you just have to show up and do the work. That's it. You just show up and do the work. We'll lay everything out for you and help you get there. Just show up and do it every day.
Right. My favorite one is, and you kind of already mentioned it once, is I was talking to a woman yesterday from Arizona who 5 years ago, when I was talking to her, she was thinking about getting out of the business. And I've got a couple of these in my coaching right now. We got them going using the things that you're talking about, and then they become successful. And then 5 years later, they're like, okay, well, I have nothing going on right now. Okay, so what did you do yesterday? Well, they get up, they get running, they get this stuff going, they start closing business and doing stuff, and then they forget. They have amnesia. Well, how did I get here? Oh, I remember what you used to do? That's how you got here.
Yeah. Go right back to the basics and start all over again.
Yeah, we have
So,
to remind them all the time, don't we?
well, yeah, and one of the best things with that coming from with Mike Ferry background, and then also what I was taught with John from day one, is that every day starting at zero.
Hmm.
If I start every day at zero and I have to build a business every day, I have to keep myself going every day. If I start at zero every single day without thinking about everything that might be an escrow, then I have that, I'm so much more successful that way because I'm working every day trying to not have nothing for the close of that day. So I need to have something, but tomorrow I start all over again at zero and have to do the same thing over and over. And building the accountability around that is super, super important.
Yeah,
So
to me, there's comfort in knowing it, but there's also a repetitious boredom part that you have to get used to. And you know what? That's not just in real estate. That's in working out. That's in eating right. That's in any business, lawyer, actor, whatever. There's a repetitious part of your business that you just have to get used to. Maybe even
yeah.
make fun. All right, so you can be productive day in, day out, like you say. Start every day at zero. Like one of my favorite Mike Ferry sayings: "Start every day at zero."
Yep, for sure.
Okay, so
For-
I'm going to put you on the spot here a second. So put your agent hat back on for a second and say, if you were an agent today, all right, what would be the top three things you would focus on to either come out of the gate hot or go to the next level, depending on where you are?
So those are pretty, I'm just going to say off the top of my head, I would definitely take advantage of the virtual agent center. I would have jumped in on VAC and you learned everything that I could have about that in the beginning. Would have gone back. That would probably be the biggest thing I would start with learning all over because everything I would need there is there. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't had to have tried to reinvent everything. And that would be the biggest thing. Utilize the tools we have through marketing and VAC for sure. So that would have been number one. Number two, I actually would have used those systems and entered everybody into a database. I didn't realize the importance of that in the beginning for sure. And I look back now and realize how many people, how much business I lost. Because if I didn't enter my clients, past clients, all my sphere into some type of a tracking system, they do get away as you get busy. They do get forgotten about. And
Mm,
I wish I could go back and have redone that. I wish I would have done that from the beginning, up, right out of the gate. The
mhm.
other one is kind of silly coming from me because you know that I am, and we've had this conversation before, and I understand the importance of, but I was never big in social media as far as building my business in that. I never, that was just not my thing. I would go back now and 100% would have asked for reviews because, I did a lot of business, and I say this all the time to agents when I'm talking to them, but I do not have if you look me up on the internet, it's not going to come up with all the business I did. I never did that. I can honestly say I truly would go back and redo that again tomorrow. I never asked for reviews, and that was a huge giant mistake.
Mhm.
Big mistake. Should have definitely done that because there's nothing, and at the time, go back 12 years ago, 13 years ago, it was very different than now. As far as, we were still in that, oh well, is this ever really going to catch on and become as big as what it is? I just didn't ask. Oh sure, I had tons of letters that people would send and
Right.
those things, but that's different. Those were not all entered online where someone could say, tell me about what kind of agent Mary Coleman is. Oh well, look at the review she has. None of that's there.
Yeah.
None of it's there, and that's so weird to me. And now to be able to go back and recreate that, I can't do it. So that's a, could I start today from not doing it? Yes. So anyone that hasn't done it, that's been in the business for any length of time, you absolutely can start doing it now. I would do that. But if I was brand new, just getting started, that would be, I would ask everybody to please, I would make sure that the links were sent out, ask them to leave a review.
Yeah. So what I'm
So
hearing is use the company, because look at Berkshire Hathaway. We have the best name on the planet. We also have the Virtual Agent Center 2.0, which has incredible stuff. It's a CRM. Load that CRM with everybody you're working with. Everybody, make sure they're getting set up on drips. Whether it be Market Watch, whatever. Okay, it used to be Market. There was a slip. Market neighborhood reports is what the
there you
change is, right? Neighborhood reports, and then put in per se whatever. Okay, and then make sure with these clients that you're doing a great job for that they're giving you Zillow reviews and so forth. So you're
yeah.
creating that, because if you're not in charge of your own marketing or responsible for it, it ain't going to get done.
No, it's definitely not. And then the other thing is the biggest part that I didn't realize in the first probably year or so, how important was the follow up. It took having to see the great exercise we all love to do, where we actually go through and look at all the people that we didn't follow up with, and how many of them actually listed, and how much of that money we just gave away to other people, other agents. That's really eye opening. So I would have gone back and done a much better job with follow up in the beginning. So that's for
Yeah,
sure. Those are biggies, and track the numbers, of course. I wish I would
right.
have understood those, how important those were going to become later from day one. I wish I really would
And
have.
as the saying goes, the fortune is in the follow up, and the
For
follow up
sure.
is important today too, right? I think as you know, I call it, when done right, semi stalker lead follow up, because that's what it feels like, especially when you're first and new at doing it, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's not comfortable, you know. It's not comfortable to do that, to call somebody back but then why did I make the contact with them to begin with if I wasn't going to follow up? So, and
Right.
that's where like you said, that's where the fortune is. Fortune's in the follow up.
It really
So,
is. You got to make the contacts, but you got to do the following up, and they really have no excuses here with the agents that we work with, because the Virtual Agent Center is rock star if you use it properly.
for sure.
But everything
For sure.
takes time. And like you said earlier, you're an independent contractor, you're a solo entrepreneur. You need to be responsible for you. We're here to help you, guide you, right? You guys
Yeah,
you two at the Sahara office, you and Amanda are there to guide them, help them. But you have to have at least a little self-starter in you to show up, pay attention, do what you got to do, right?
for sure. Absolutely. Show up every day. You're going to hear something all the time, that either from a seasoned agent that's walking through the office or through a class that we offer, or something. You're going to learn something every single day just by being here. So come in and do it. And the other biggie is thinking of, if you jump right in and do it, don't give yourself excuses. Build strong accountability around it. Be very, very clear on what your goal is, and know that it's your goal and not mine. A lot of times people come in and they'll talk to me and they'll think that instantly the first year they have to do 25 deals or they're not going to be successful. That number belongs to you. Whatever number and goal you have set around your lifestyle, that's yours. That's your number. It's not mine. It's not Amanda's. It's your number. So let's build your activities around that. But do what you say you're going to do. The time's going to go by, whether you jump in and you take advantage of everything that you have to learn, and the opportunities to learn, or you don't, and then a year went by and now maybe you would have closed 5 deals, but you closed no deals because you didn't do it. You didn't take the time, and the time went by it went by anyway. And
Yeah,
that's going to happen way through the whole career. As you move up and you have more goals and more things that you want to do, just jump in and do it. The time's going to go by whether you do or you don't. So what do you have to lose by taking a shot and doing what it is we ask you to do? You
right.
know, like accountability. Okay. But guess what? If you work at that year at really building strong accountability, that year's going to go by anyway. Let's not sit in a year from now and say, wow, I didn't hit any of the goals. Let's jump in and do the activities that are going to help you reach those goals. The time's going to pass whether you do them or you don't. What do you have to lose by just jumping in and doing it?
Yeah, it actually takes less energy to do it than it does to beat yourself up for not doing it.
Exactly. Ex-
Or like I like what Brian Tracy says. Someday Don't be from someday I'll.
Yeah.
Someday I'll do this. Someday I'll do that, and then you end up getting nowhere, and then you kick yourself in the butt.
So my dad used to use this one all the time when I was a kid, and I loved this. I would say to him, "I'm going to do it tomorrow," and he'd say, "No, how about to now?" So he would get rid of the was to now, and I would say, "Okay, tomorrow." No, to now, to now, and I would laugh at that, but it always sticks with me. Whenever I want to say, "Okay, I'm going to do this tomorrow," in my head I hear, "No, do it to now. Forget tomorrow."
I love to
So
now.
yeah, to now.
To
So yeah, that
now. That's great. No, that's a great way to put it. To now is the best time to do it. Why put it
good.
off? You can get it done now. Plus, you feel better about yourself. You always feel better when you do it now. And putting off never feels good.
No, it doesn't. I was talking to one of my coaching groups about that yesterday, and one of the points that was made goes right along with that is things happen. Life gets in the way. When you have reached your goal, let's say your prospecting time is you prospect between 12 and 2 every day, or you lead generate between 12 and 2, whatever that looks like for you. So you hit all of those goals by you're done by 11 or by 1 o'clock. You've reached your contacts for the day. You've done everything. But, oh, was still built into my schedule is that other hour. Do it. Just keep going, because what happens if tomorrow something gets in your way and you lost that time? So do it and just keep going, keep adding. It never hurts to have more. It's you never go back. One of the big things, oh, I'll make it up tomorrow. It never happens. It never happens. So if you have the extra time to continue to generate those leads and build that business, do it in the time that you had scheduled to be doing that anyway, even if you already reached that contact goal for that day. It's just helpful.
So sure, reminds me. Remember that video? What was his name? Shyla something. Just do it. Remember that video? I always
Yeah.
crack up when I think about that one because it's so true. Just do it. Stop talking about it. Just do it. Like when people tell me I'm the neighborhood expert, I always go, just act like the neighborhood expert, and then you don't have to say it.
Exactly.
All right, Mary. Well, thank you. Awesome. This has been great today. Awesome job. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you for taking your time out this morning. We appreciate you and everybody else. We'll do this again next
I
week.
appreciate you. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Mary. Appreciate it.
Bye.